And welcome to the Ramble and the marketing rambles that we're having here today, which is actually being put on by the Steem Foundation. We're just the avenue for it. Agrode is joining me here online, and we're going to try to bounce around a bit of discussion about marketing on Steem. I see Pensive has joined us. I'm going to put you up to guest on air there, Pensive. Thanks for showing up.
Brother Jahal's here as well. So look, guys, I guess my take would be we have one of the best blockchains out there, just in terms of capabilities and ability to scale and current scalability. I think Steem is remarkably undervalued and is an incredibly powerful blockchain. And people don't all understand that, but just looking at the technicals, we have a fantastic blockchain. What we don't have is a phenomenal cryptocurrency. And so some of that to me feels like it's a bit of bad word of mouth about us. Some of that is we just have to have more businesses and more communities, and we have to figure out ways to kind of change the dynamic so that folks see this not only as a place to earn, because I do think that it's healthy to be a place to earn, but it also needs to become a place to invest so that you don't just like get your tokens and then burn them right away, but you feel some pressure to keep them because you'll think they'll be worth more later. And I would hope that this discussion is really around how do we get there? How do we go from how do we get people at large, including people in our own community, that like some of our biggest critics are the people that are in here. How do we figure out how to grow the message? What is the right message? How should we be talking about Steem internally? Who should we be targeting? I think there's a lot of room. Like I literally think everything is on the table. You know, there's nobody in Steem that I think has nailed this enough where it's like, all right, just do what they're doing. I feel like there's a lot of room. So that is how I'd scope this problem, and hopefully we can start crowdsourcing an answer. How does that feel to you, Shadows Pub?
That sounds pretty broad-based. Let's start with something narrow. What do you think would be top of the list?
Well, it's tough because so how do you build a marketing plan, right? How do we do this whole damn thing? So I guess part of this is what is it that we're trying to do here, and then so I guess okay, when I worked for BASF, which is the world's largest chemical company, and they had a sustainable development marketing program, and they would use this marketing as a way to grow their business, and it was all focused on like, hey, not only are we a really good entry price, but we're also good for the environment. And in the process of doing that, I really started learning about how to have like a sustainable plan about how you talk about yourselves. And to me, it usually starts with, what is the problem that you're trying to solve? So if you know the problem that you want to solve, that's usually the starting point for like, what is it that we do? Well, we're here to solve this problem, and this is how we do it. So when I try to brainstorm this stuff, I go with problem statement. I'm going to write these in chat. Problem, vision, mission, and plan. So those are the four things that I would like. People pitch me on business ideas and they want my money and stuff like that, or they just come to me with help and they don't really have like well-organized thoughts on things. I always go to that. What is the problem that you're trying to solve? Because everything starts from there. So, you know, I have some ideas of what I think the problem that we're trying to solve is, but I don't want this just to be, you know, what do I think? I want to hear from lots of other people. What's the problem in crypto or in the world that you think that we're solving? Like, why are we here? What is it that Steem is good at, and what problem does it solve?
So Nersha's made the comment that he thinks that Steem should be the place to go to wrap your head around crypto. And Nylon suggests that the first rule of marketing analysis is to identify your target market, then go after them. But I think maybe the problem that we're wanting to identify probably should be first, although we seem to have several problems.
And I'm okay with several problems. I mean, like, what are the I guess what are the problems? So I would break this down into two parts. What are the problems in the world at large, and then what are the problems with crypto in general? And if we can start figuring out what those problems are, and then maybe we can say, here's our vision for how we're going to fix them.
So when you say the problem with crypto in general, are you referring to people that already have some knowledge of crypto, or the masses?
Well, that starts getting into. So Matt Clark has got part of this, is that fiat sucks and crypto is hard for normies to get into. I actually think those are two, like, if we had to figure, I think Matt Clark just nailed it, right? Those are the two big problems. It's that we all know, everybody that's in here knows, fiat is just like this totally broken system. It creates poverty by design. Like, that's not an accident. That's what this thing does. It sucks money from poor people and shoves it to the wealthy people. So I don't, maybe there are other reasons why people think that fiat sucks. And then I think he's also nailed it that crypto is hard. Like, now you have all these keys. So it was actually I even have a hard time saying his name. Sir Cork was the one that actually made a pretty relevant post of something like crypto's easy. All you have to understand, or Steem is easy. All you have to understand is witnesses, blockchain, voting, Steem power, voting mana, and like a list of 60 terms that are all like, crypto jargon.
Yeah, so, like, piece of cake. Let's just go home and not worry about it.
So let's try to. Are there other folks that want to?
Pensive.
Chime in. Why?
I'm going to kind of fall on Pensive for a moment there, Aggro. If he's present, are you with us, Pensive? Maybe he's fake newsing us.
Hello.
There he is. So Pensive, I know that you've already been doing some looking at this situation and some marketing ideas. Where did you start at? What was the premises you were working on?
I mean, one of the things is trying to think of Steem as one thing is nigh on impossible. And I did a post the other day about Steem is for everyone, and tried to target. Was it Niall said about who the target is? The target is many different targets, and that's one of the problems, because people say, "Oh, what's the vision for Steem?" There can't be one vision, because we can do many things, because you've got Steem at the core, and then you've got Splinterland, you've got Travel Feed, you've got 100 other things. So every one of those has its own vision and its own target market. The Steem itself, probably the only use for Steem itself, maybe to turn it into a cryptocurrency information site. Maybe I don't really see any great use for Steem ongoing, because it is too diffuse, and therefore you can't do much with it. And that's where the tribes come in, and the particular targeted things like Travel Feed. So that's the starting point. Is it isn't one thing with one target. It's many things for many different targets, and the marketing really has to go around that. To market Steem as a whole, you can market Steem as a whole to developers and investors, I think, but consumers and creators, you've then got to split it up into the many parts.
So it's almost diversity for all.
Well, so it's not everything though, right? Like, we're not a taco stand. We're not like an auto shop. Like, we aren't technically everything. So part of what I think, so getting to defining ourselves, I think can happen a little bit later. I still think that we should keep diving into, like, just saying crypto sucks, or just saying fiat sucks and crypto is hard. Maybe that's enough for the problem statement. Like, at some point it has to be an infomercial, right? Like, it has to be the, who's the guy that made all like the squeegee things? You guys,
Squishy things.
it's the ultimate guy that was always doing the ShamWow. What was that guy's name? Billy May. So at some point you need like a Billy May infomercial on Steam, which usually starts with, "Don't you hate it when blah?" And then you can be like, "But this gets around it." So like we have to at some point really narrow in on the focus on here's what sucks about your life because of fiat and because you can't figure out how to get into crypto.
So Jack Miller made the comment that Steem should not revolve around blogging, and it doesn't, as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't revolve around blogging, but we do have to realize that unless people join in order to play games, a game like Splinterlands, if they've joined through that or they've joined through ThreeSpeak, most people's first encounter with Steem is actually the blogging, and then they learn about the rest of that is available. So while it's not revolving around blogging, the fact is it's there, we can't ignore it.
So Inertia has a good line of, "Don't you hate it when your social platform is centralized?" But I think it goes back to the question of that Pensif was asking of, are we a social platform? And the answer might be yes. I think that's part of what we do, but it's certainly a bigger picture. So what I still would like to try to just keep focusing in on. So we have the two broad Matt Clark categories: fiat sucks, and crypto is hard. So unless somebody wants to add like another major problem. So maybe social media we want to complain about as sort of our like, I wouldn't want to go beyond 3 problem statements because then that starts getting really complicated. But fiat sucks, crypto is hard, and maybe social media is broken. Would you want to include that, or is that too Steemit specific as opposed to Steem blockchain specific?
Actually, social media being broken is maybe something that would actually draw towards some people because they're seeing the problems that are happening on the other platforms, and they're looking for something fresh, whether this fits it or not.
So let's go. Let's add it for now, and we'll see. We'll see if it sticks. Social media is broken. Okay, so my hope would be that we can sort of flesh out those 3 things with at least 3 subcategories. And we're still brainstorming, so that doesn't need to be perfect yet. But I'd like to hear why fiat sucks. I'd like to hear why crypto is hard, and I'd like to hear why social media is broken. And then maybe we can start talking about an alternate vision for those kinds of things.
So I see the Yeti asking, why does it have to be a negative? Why can't it be a positive? I've yet to see a problem that is actually a positive. That's why the negative statements.
Yeah, Yeti, I wouldn't say that that's like the our message isn't going to be, the message overall is not fiat sucks. That's just setting up the problem. But how we talk about ourselves and how we sort of attempt to grow this. So because you have to save more as inflation eats away at your cash. So let's go. I'm going to go keep copying this. And then here we'll get, I don't know how I can do this, but I'll put inflation. So we need 9 total. So I'm looking for ABC for fiat sucks, ABC for crypto is hard, and an ABC for social media is broken. So fiat sucks because of inflation. Why else does fiat suck?
So the follow-up that Yeti asked was, why can't we give a positive message? We will give a positive message after we figure out the solution to the problem.
Yeah, I mean, I think the positive comes in when you, like, so you want to sell the vision, right? Like, maybe we can sell our products, and some people can be successful selling products, but generally you want to sell the vision. And so we kind of have to go create it. So I think we're going to have to go refine the inflation thing, because Ron is right and somebody else is right, and maybe it's just the clown. But so what in particular about the inflation is what makes it so that it's terrible? Why? So like we inflate, and even Bitcoin inflates. You know, there are very few of these things that are like completely deflationary. But what's different about crypto in general regarding the inflation?
I don't think that the average person has any idea. They see the statements that, you know, inflation's bad, but I don't think they really know. And do they need to know? Steem QA says not sure normies care. Printing money, devaluing currency.
Well, so I think this would get to our to the audience of like, are we going after kind of the Ron Paul revolution guys that do understand, or are we really trying to go after everybody? But I think we have to figure out what our problem is and what we're trying to solve. Steem inflation is preferable to gov inflation because of transparency. Inflation, I don't know what's a word for non-transparent? Opaque? Maybe opaque inflation? I guess one of the other things that I would point to is it's not only opaque, it's also centralized.
Kitty Girl's made an interesting comment there, and the average person would probably be able to understand. Crypto inflation is planned. It just scrolled up the screen. Crypto inflation is planned and serves a purpose, but fiat inflation is uncontrolled except by the wealthy banks and government. That kind of speaks to people a little bit more.
Okay, so I'm going to go copy what she said, and I'll add that in, and that can be our A. And we have some concerns from Exile that crypto doesn't suck. So we're going to have to go talk about that in a second too. Crypto inflation. Here's this.
He says fiat doesn't suck. Turning crypto into fiat saved my ass.
It's not going to let me edit that. So, you know what? Maybe I guess I'm going to go start a hack, because hopefully you guys don't mind doing a HackMD with me. Create. All right. Marketing Ramble hack. This is our problem statement.
So Space Dace has pointed out that she feels like crypto isn't part of the average person's vocabulary. You're probably right, Space, but it is becoming more common. The unfortunate part of it is they relate Bitcoin to it.
Crypto is hard. Okay, so fiat sucks. We're going to go put that in. Hopefully you guys are checking out this hack with me here too, because I'm just putting in what y'all are saying. And you guys can add this stuff in. You know, it's a hack because it's meant to be a
brainstorming.
Meant to be a community event here. All right, so we have crypto inflation is planned and serves a purpose, but fiat inflation is uncontrolled except by the wealthy banks and government. Are there other reasons why fiat sucks? I can think of a couple, but I'm hoping that other folks will chime in here too.
How many people even, beyond the crypto space, how many people actually understand the concept of decentralized?
So, decentralized. So what we'll eventually have to do is sell the benefits. And so, like, one of the things that I would say about fiat sucks. So what it's backed by, maybe we can put that in here. Backed by nothing. It's kind of only backed by violence, but we can put nothing in there for now. It's kind of backed by the U.S. military at the moment. But I guess one of the things that's really frustrating about fiat is that there's always fees. So like, I I would put, there's transfer fees, taxes. There's like credit card fees. I feel like it costs a fair amount of money to use fiat, and we're all just kind of used to it. But I would say, borders too.
Yeah, everywhere you turn, there's a fee.
Because the thing I like about fees is that, like, okay, if you go and talk to a normie and you're like, hey, this thing is decentralized, they'll be like, what does that mean? Why do I care? If you say, hey, this thing is feeless and, there's no more overdraw penalties, like, okay, tell me more.
Funny how fiat cornered the market and we have to use it. This is true.
Fiat sucks. So right now in here I have crypto inflation is planned and serves a purpose, but fiat inflation is uncontrolled except by the wealthy banks and government. It's backed by nothing. There's fees, transfer fees, taxes, credit card fees, and strict borders. Are there other things that we're kind of railing against for fiat here? Speed.
That's a plus for crypto.
I'll put that with strict borders because that's kind of around like movement of the money. Speed, and we can put in transparency too.
Steem transactions are faster than handing over cash and waiting for change. So Yeti wants to know, why would it have to be a negative against fiat to bring people to crypto?
Yeti, I'm not sure that you fully understand the exercise. I guess I'd ask you to hang out for a bit and then see how we sort of pivot from, because we're in stage one of this. Stage one of this is the problem statement. Stage two of this is the alternate vision. So all your happy thoughts where we all hold hands and we think like, hey, here's all the awesome stuff that's going to happen. That to me starts coming in the alternate vision category. So where we start putting out, hey, this is how we solve problems. This is why it looks awesome. This is why we make more friends. This is how we have nice things. That's the alternate vision part. So give us a couple minutes here to go flesh out the why everything sucks part, and then we can get there.
The other question he has is, can't we pitch crypto as a positive just as it is? Yes, we can. However, we have to give people something to relate to if they don't understand crypto and they relate to fiat. First, we have to tell them what fiat is.
Yeah, I guess we do really have to go with that backed by nothing thing. I mean, that's what we all kind of hate about this, is that, like, it's just paper. Like, you spend your entire life printing paper, or like trying to get printed paper numbers on a screen, that it's literally backed by nothing. It used to be backed by something.
The crazy part of it is, and I'm referring to my eldest brother here, who actually does investments in fiat, and he's asked this question about what is crypto backed by. And when I throw that back at him and say, what's those dollars in your pocket backed by, he actually thinks they're backed by the government. And he was quite shocked when he went a little bit further and found out, not really.
Yeah. Fiat is backed by guns. Well, it depends on what crypto you're talking about. I mean, some of these things have, SBD has Steem that's behind it. I guess stable coins are sometimes backed by dollars, and some of them are backed just by market participation. It's backed by the fact that you can trade it for goods.
There is at least one that is being backed by gold.
Ooh, that's fun.
Yeah, he's investing in that one. That's how I know about it.
So what about crypto is hard? So why does that matter in how I mean, if people still have things for fiat sucks, I'm happy to go listen about fiat sucking for hours on end. But we have 4 of them. That's enough to sort of like get us going here. Why is crypto hard? What makes crypto hard, whereas like credit cards are easy or something else? Like what makes crypto hard?
So Matt has said few people use cash. Heaps use credit cards. You trust the vendor to only take N dollars. Crypto, you push the exact amount. So that would be crypto is more precise.
Few people use cash. Heaps use credit cards. Trust the vendor. So that's like something that's kind of pro fiat. So pro fiat, what you kind of answer the question, why is fiat easy? And the answer to the question of why is fiat easy is because the business, what would I put there? The vendor. I like vendor. The vendor charges the precise amount. So that's not quite crypto is hard, but
we've got you can't use crypto everywhere unlike fiat. And Kitty Girl says crypto is hard because there's different technology behind it, which people must learn.
So we have a couple of these pro fiat comments. So maybe we'll have to address these somewhere. But pro fiat, it's accepted everywhere. We're here to go support crypto, so we'll need some anti fiat stuff here.
Steem QA says a learning curve for crypto. Matt's clarifying. He says, I'm saying crypto is more secure because you don't need to trust the vendor, to be honest.
Crypto is hard. So, but what? We're pro crypto. I'm gonna record that, but I'm not sure that it fits with this. But that's fine. It might need to fit somewhere different. Pro crypto. I'm saying that crypto is more secure. I'll just put that. Crypto is more secure. Vendor trustlessness. Okay. So crypto is hard. That's the learning curve.
Okay, so Inertia's got crypto's hard. Steem makes addresses easy. Steem splits key authorities better than Bitcoin, and Steem has several ways to time lock funds.
So that starts coming into the alternate vision for Steem. So I'm gonna hang off on those for a second. Because what we're going to do is we're going to say, hey, don't you hate all these things about your life? Wouldn't it be great if there was this other way? Well, here is this other way. Welcome to Steem. With Steem, you do this, it works like this, and you get all these benefits. So what I think Inertia just responded with are what's the alternate vision? How is it that Steem addresses that crypto is hard? I think he nailed it. But I still don't think that we've really come into why is crypto hard? Like, so there's a learning curve, okay, but why is there such a giant freaking learning curve that comes with crypto? Like, why is it hard for people? What is it that makes this place tricky instead of easy?
So Solar Miner says crypto's hard because you have to figure out mining fees.
Crypto is hard. Learning curve.
Yeti says it's different. It takes re-educating. Nylon has pointed out, he says, to be honest, 90% of people won't care about these issues. They're not relatable to the average Joe. People that earn their wage, spend their money, just want to get through life. People really don't care about most things as long as they're getting along all right, unless the target market is solely business or investors.
That's right. So we're not at some point, this is why I talk about we're going to sell the vision. So we're not going to go feature punch somebody, and we're not going to tell them, hey, look, it's decentralized and it's all this. We're going to go sell the benefit. What's the benefit of it being decentralized? What's the benefit of, the addresses are easy? Like we're going to have to, we'll have to wordsmith it from understanding the underlying problem to presenting the vision. And that vision, when we present it or sell it, really has to be focused on the benefits.
So CryptoPie has suggested volatility is what scares some people.
So crypto is hard. So volatility. volatility is in there. That's certainly true. I still, so crypto, like volatility is certainly a pain in the ass. And mining and fees, is mining and fee, like if is mining and fees the thing that really like makes somebody resistant to learning about Bitcoin? Like if you tell them, hey, there's mining, they're like, whoa, 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 hold up. I can't follow that. Like what? Yeah, regulatory framework would be in there. Regulatory framework might make crypto hard. I still want to know, I guess hard, when we typically talk about hard, we really mean complicated. So what is it about crypto that's so freaking complicated to like a normie? Like if you try to convince your mom to come and partake in this stuff, like why would your mom throw her hands up and be like, well, what the hell with that?
Probably about the minute you say you need to have these keys, that's when they go, why?
So keys versus passwords.
So the Yeti's just made a similar comment. He says the 52-digit password you cannot recover compared to what everyone else uses.
So yeah, actually, I think, who just said this? I think Mindtrap might have nailed it. They ask, how the fuck do these money come from? So that's not quite a real sentence, but where does the value come from? Value comes from. I mean, that might actually be the central question that I think is what makes crypto so hard to people.
Yeah,
like it's not
the first question.
Yeah. So I think that would be one of the things that we have to address of like, where does the value of this thing come from? Like normally they think, okay, a government is backing it, but there's no government backing it here. So how could it possibly have value without the government telling us it has value? The normie package.
That's generally the first question you get is, where does the value come from?
So what, so I think that's definitely something we're going to have to address in whatever we talk about. Like, so, if we're talking to businesses, where does the value come from should probably be one of our central questions that we're answering.
And Space Days has pointed out mainstream media is connecting crypto to the dark web, drugs, etc. And that's very true.
So maybe crypto is mediaphobic. I think I'm saying that wrong way. But mediaphobic.
It's got bad press. There we go.
Media phobia on crypto. So there's like even the term crypto, I think, is like, it just scares people a little. Like, what is crypto? Like, crypto sounds sinister.
Yeah, I kind of find it amusing sometimes in that they make the connection between crypto and drugs and the dark web. Fiat gets used for drugs and all kinds of things, but we don't avoid fiat because of it. So Nylon says, signing up to exchanges, multiple keys, addresses, transfer of funds, markets, use case, price action, all hard. Normie account needs login and play. Transfer to usernames and spend with a card or app in real world.
Multiple keys, addresses. Yeah, market. I guess the exchange.
Yeah.
So I can add exchange to this. Price action. I don't know if I would put that other than the exchange. Account needs login and play, transfer usernames, and spend with a card or app in real world. Okay. So I feel, that's enough for me to sort of like work on stage 2 now. So do you mind if I kind of review what we have so far for what our problem statement is?
Go for it.
So to sum up, and just if you're new, we're kind of talking through this here. So the problem statement, we have three major ones. We're going to have fiat sucks, We're going to have crypto is hard, and we have social media is broken. Actually, I guess we should talk about social media is broken because I took some stuff from Inertia, but that doesn't mean that that everybody has had their say. So in social media is broken, we have regain control of content, maintain chain of ownership, recognize incentives and excellence, and then restore consumer-producer relationship. Are there other things that
Steem and QA has said deplatforming / censorship.
Yeah. So again, so this I'm actually going to move out of here, and we're going to put this down here, and this is going to be media is broken.
Aggro to speaking, Paula.
So who just did the thing? You don't. What did you just tell me?
Deplatforming censorship. Yeah,
deplatforming censorship. Deplatforming and censorship. I think that's like the big one. But what else do we want to do for? You don't own your brand on social media. Social media, you can vest it. So ownership or lack of ownership.
Yeah.
Which goes back to the deplatforming and censorship. So I'm gonna put that kind of underneath lack of ownership, because that's kind of a consequence there. What else have we got here? So lack of ownership sucks for social media, and it leads to deplatforming and censorship. Are there other parts that are broken?
Solo, I think you're actually talking about Steem. Mass flagging to suspend accounts and trending is not filtered. That would be Steem, not the other social media. Paula G says bigger organizations earning from the creator.
So yeah, that I guess I'll put flow of wealth, but this is like the bigger org earns from the creator. So that's like the consequences of centralization or something. That the organization takes all the money rather than at a decentralized platform where everybody's paid.
Yeah.
And like the money goes to the content creator rather than. So there's got to be a better term for that, of like maybe distribution of wealth.
You take a look at Facebook, and I think the same on Twitter. With the advertising fees they collect, the contributors get nothing, and they take it all.
Yeah, like literally nothing. Distribution of revenue. So lack of ownership, distribution of revenue. What else is broken about? So let me sum up where we're at. So the first thing that I want to do is figure out what are the problem statements. When we have three big problem statements: fiat sucks, crypto is hard, and social media is broken. We spent the first 15 minutes or so kind of just coming up with what are we even doing here, and then we figured out, okay, here are the reasons why fiat sucks. Here are the reasons why crypto is hard, and then we're on the last one of why is social media in general broken. We have lack of ownership. We have distribution of revenue. And so maybe there's one other. But it was kind of a fascinating thing. I was watching. There's a lawsuit against YouTube that by PragerU, because they're getting deplatformed and demonetized, and their entire argument is like you basically have two types of websites. You have publishers and you have public forums. The publishers have the ability to go put whatever content up they want, and they stay liable for it. The public forum has to host it for everybody. They can't pick and choose, but they're not liable for anything that people say. And the problem is that YouTube is a public forum that's acting like a publisher because they're picking and choosing what gets to stay and what's trending. So I feel like there's something here about, it's not just simply deplatforming. Maybe this falls under censorship, but it's like, they have non-transparent agendas, or I don't know. There's something there.
The Yeti's made the comment that he doesn't think distribution really applies. He doesn't believe Steem Inc. distributes revenue. Steem Inc. doesn't distribute revenue, and we don't want them to because Steem distributes it.
Yeah, I mean, Steem, it's a private company.
Yeah.
And they distribute revenue to their employees.
Well, true.
Yeah, we're trying to talk about Steem blockchain, that this is meant to be people being the platform are trying to make sense of public forums and define them a certain way. Steem blockchain just sidesteps all that. Has great organic promotion tools, especially Instagram. Yeah, so we could also write a book on what is missing from Steem. So great organic promotion tools. I guess we should go put together some sort of like needs. We can put organic promotion tools.
Yeti's asked, wouldn't Steem blockchain distribute revenue via businesses that are there? That's what it's been doing right from the beginning, is distributing revenue via the reward pool.
Well, it's been distributing inflation. I mean, there hasn't been a lot of revenue that has happened here.
But it arrives as revenue for the users. That's what they see.
Interesting. So, yeah, we're going to keep coming back to I'm still not hearing like a third problem for why social media is broken, because I still think a lot of this just fits under lack of ownership, deplatforming, and censorship, and then distribution of revenue the bigger org earns from the creators. Are those?
I'd say those are three. They're interrelated, but they're distinctly different as well.
Well, they still feel like they're subcategories. Like the lack of ownership leads to deplatforming and censorship. But I guess it's not just the lack of ownership that leads to the censorship.
You could own the content, and the platform could still turn around and say, take your content and get lost.
And they do.
Yeah.
Right? That's what demonetizing is. So like somewhere in here is that like they're not acting ethically, or like it's not a true public square, right? I think that's one of the
probably a good term, not a true public square.
Or maybe it's not fair.
Oh, don't use fair. That'll trigger a few people.
But that's ultimately what I'm trying to get at, is that like you can voice whatever liberal opinion you would want to. Like that's not what we really want. We want it so that, anybody, because so some of the studies that have come out of like, the traditional media, their barriers to trending are so much lower than like some alternative guy trying to go get their message out. So it's, in some ways, it's not or maybe it's like a rigged public square. Can I say that?
Rigged, limited.
Rigged, limited.
Apologies pointed out you don't decide what you use. Steem at QA has asked the question, freedom of expression.
Yeah, I think all of this can fall under it's rigged. Like it favors the big media. Favors big media. I would go so far as it removes conservative voices. It might do other things.
So Jack has said social media is broken because the bulk of it is controlled by a few individuals, and that's scary to those who control the mass media. The governments have competition, yet the social media out there to date seems to be no different than that of mass media and governments.
So I think that's pretty good. Concentration of ownership. And separately, it's lack of content ownership. All right, that's starting to feel more fleshed out to me.
So Inertia is saying they're pushing the public square idea on private sites. Just use the Steem blockchain and host your own front end.
Yeah, so he keeps going to the alternate vision. So let's go. Media is broken. So let's go. Let's just here. We'll copy that whole line and we'll put it down here into media is broken, and that can fall under the alternate vision. Okay, so now shiny path check-in warning, monster fans. Yeah, shiny path check-in. All right, so here, so we have fiat sucks, crypto is hard, social media is broken, and I'm feeling pretty good about those and the sort of how we fleshed out some of the problems with it. So now I'd say let's go come up with the alternate vision. So Yeti, here's where we come out with sunshine and roses of like, okay, so fiat sucks. Why doesn't crypto suck? Like what are the good things about crypto, or sort of like even separate from what are the good things about crypto? What's the sweet joy, or like what? Again, we're going back to the infomercial here with Billy Mays. Don't you hate it when your fiat is just completely centrally controlled? And not only is it controlled, but it's got all these fees and transfer fees and taxes and credit card fees. Hell, you can't even send it over borders. Don't you hate that? What would be awesome is this. And then we can talk about and then we talk about all the like ways that we help people. So, so that's what comes next. So what is it about crypto that is the alternate vision to fiat sucks? Like why are you guys here? Why do you like crypto in particular? What's the good thing about crypto?
Are we here because we like crypto, or did we start to enjoy the community?
Okay, so we can talk about we can start with community. So alternate vision, a community. So we can put that in there. Like if that's a main appeal, that certainly there's people that have come here. Asset ownership. I mean,
crypto offers an alternative.
But I don't just want like we're here to present that we are the alternative. I don't just want us to be like, use us, we're the alternative because they suck. Like I want us to say like we are, not only are we the alternative, but we're the great alternative.
Kitty Girl says lightning fast transactions in crypto, and Matt says I'm not buying things I don't want, like bombs.
So non-violent.
Nobody can boss us.
So yeah, we can talk about feeless. We can talk about borderless.
Fast free transfers is popping up a lot.
So inertia. While I'm here, it's easy to develop Steem apps. So this is going to get. We're gonna.
Crypto crosses borders.
We need a mascot. And we should just have scary clowns be our mascot.
Do we want to attract people or scare them away?
Well, a little bit of both, I think. Depends who's coming. On the middleman, apps and tribes take a cut. Steem has tokens that run on the blockchain. So there's something about middleman that seems to be resonating with people. Alternate vision, fearless, borderless, no middleman.
I think Paulo's point was there is sort of a middleman when apps and tribes are taking a cut.
Yeah, but that's for apps and tribes. I mean, like, not all apps do that. Not all tribes do that.
True.
But but I think that points out, like, like she's referring to no middleman as a benefit. So if we can talk about Steem as a place without a middleman, or sort of like opt-in middlemen as opposed to required middlemen, maybe that's sufficient.
Paulo's typing away on something there. Middleman takes way less on Steem. There we go.
So maybe it's not no middleman. I don't know if maybe it's opt-in. I'm not sure yet. I'm going to put this in quotes because maybe that's wrong.
So in a sense, even where a app charges a beneficiary, because you are earning on that transaction before the beneficiary comes out of it, the middleman is just a cost of doing business. Voluntary middleman. There you go. Choose your middleman, Steve.
So I have opt-in and voluntary for middleman. Okay, so those are some of the
Inertia has pointed out the middleman won't flat out deny broadcast.
So I guess I'll put in immutable because that's one of the things that keeps me here. But how would we do flat out deny a broadcast? I know, but let's state that in the positive, because this is to
your voice can be heard.
It's more powerful than that, because it's like your voice can't be denied.
So Matt has said support creators with no out of pocket, like walking down the street, tipping the best buskers, and finishing up with a little bit more money than you started with. And Jack has gone, Steem and SMTs offer solution to the fiat system, where in the fiat ecosystems, no matter which of them we choose, we the workers make the new value and the people governing decide how it should be managed. SMTs shall give anyone the opportunity to be master of their own newly created value. Content cannot be lost.
So I'm very good with what Inertia's saying, and it's like doesn't deny broadcast. I just want doesn't deny broadcast stated in the affirmative, in the positive. So Steem always something's your broadcast. Guarantees. Voice can't be denied. So still, you still have can't. I want it to be, what is the affirmative? Censorship resistant. Your voice guaranteed. What's something even? So it's broadcast guaranteed, but what is it? The broadcast. The broadcast is the action, but what's actually in it? Your message guaranteed, your statement guaranteed. Oh, it's super censorship resistant. Everything you say stays on here.
Yeah.
Immutable.
You might not see it on every front end, but it's there. One lifetime storage.
It's a feature, lifetime storage. I'm still.
You choose who you hear from. They think that a UI following non-consensus rules is censorship.
I'm still trying to get to. All right, I guess I'll leave it for now. But broadcast can't be denied. I'd still like a more positive way to say broadcast can't be denied. Your voice guaranteed? Like, what's the uplifting way to say that? Your speech guaranteed? Maybe it's guaranteed free speech?
Censorship-proof broadcast. Apology says immutable. Solo Miner says permanent content. Space Day says censor-proof broadcast.
Censor-proof broadcast. So censor-proof broadcast is a good term. I think it's a little jargony, because censor and broadcast, I think, are
So Jack
But
says First Amendment guaranteed, but the only problem is that's one
who's First
country
Amendment?
centered.
Yeah.
Exactly. Independent
I think
broadcasting is suggested.
I think isn't it guaranteed free speech? Is that the phrase? Is that acceptable or no? Free
Your
speech guaranteed?
Steam at QA, your message delivered guaranteed.
Free speech delivered. I kind of dig that.
Yeah.
Well, if free speech brings trauma,
that is guaranteed. Your message unobstructed.
Proclamations, like your proclamation's guaranteed. I'm not sure that that's going to be a message that resonates. We're not. I don't think we could use proclamations.
Inertia's used as the source. Hey, sometimes it brings up some gems. Public broadcasting.
Yeah, but like, so the problem with the word broadcasting is that like people are going to think of that like PBS. Here's your public broadcasting system or station. Like they're not thinking about broadcasting in terms of like a node where like because what it really is, the speech here is actually your financial transactions are guaranteed. There's nobody that stops you from like giving money to WikiLeaks or something. And it's also that nobody here stops you from putting your message on the blockchain. Like to me, it's really like a transmission. Your transmission guaranteed.
So Rondon says concrete soapbox for every man. I guess us women are on our own.
Oh my God. Yes. And he didn't even include other genders. It's so hard to be a millennial. All right,
the soapbox actually is an interesting emblem to use because it's so old and so well understood.
Even transmission seems pretty hard. Wouldn't it be up to the front ends to determine the points? So this is the beauty of Steem, is that no, the blockchain guarantees this shit. They might not show your transactions and they might not show your post. Transmission, relay, and broadcast are all too techy. Gender-free soap promotion. Yeah. But there's to me it's something about it's like I've been thinking a lot about like constitutional capitalism, and it's like what are the rights that we have as capitalists to transact with one another, and so there's something in there of like we guarantee the right of your financial transmission, and we guarantee your speech is placed on this blockchain. So,
it's not so obvious right now, but as we grow, one of the things that's going to be a plus here is going to be broad distribution with easy entry, because all those front ends will appear as individual different entities, but they're all coming off the same blockchain.
So, ease of entry is going to be something that goes to the crypto is hard message. Mm-hmm. Ease of entry. So I'm still, if we can get something that broadcast can't be denied, but put that into the positive, I think that'll help us. And what are you broadcasting? You're broadcasting your votes, your transactions, and your words. So I don't know a term, or there's no immediate term that comes to mind, but it's something like guaranteed literal and economic speech or something like that.
Steem at QA just used a very easy to understand. Ideas not denied. Could you get more simple than that?
No, but I still need it to be, I still want it to be in the positive, right? Because I don't want to sell our vision on like, here's shit we don't do. Like, because I think that actually gets, what's this, who was the guy that was complaining? Yeti or somebody? The Yeti keeps saying, I don't want it to be negative. I don't want it to be negative. So I'm still trying to keep it positive here. I just want it to be in the affirmative, you know?
So Matt has suggested your message available everywhere.
Like, that is a true statement. Your speech delivered, transmission, message available everywhere. Yeah, Yeti, I'm agreeing with you. This is where we have to be positive. This is like American politics of like, we don't want to come out and be like, yeah, but I'm not that horrible witch or I'm not that terrible douche. Like, we can do better than that. We can be better than, we can do better than just describing what we're not. I really like us to describe what we are.
So Jack
Russian
says,
bot free.
Jack says, say what you think.
Say what you think. So, say what you
Pensive
think.
says, Omni Steem.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds like jargon. Yeah, we have to, part of this is we have to appeal to like, one of the main targets would be like people that don't know anything about crypto on R than the R not. Yeah, I mean, Janie, that's what I'm basically trying to get at. I still don't think I have. So maybe proof of brain should fall in here somewhere. Proof of brain, maybe that's in there. I don't know yet. But free speech delivered, transmission, message available everywhere. Say what you think. Pro peace versus anti war. Yeah, I mean, I want to tell people what we stand for, not what we stand against.
Stacy says, then you have to explain proof of brain. I was thinking that when I was reading it.
Stand for quality, traits, and skills. Yeah, so, proof of brain may not translate well, so I'll separate that out.
So is it? Yeti's asking, they call me Dan. He refers to it as Web 3.0, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
I'm still figuring out what Web 2.0 was.
Well, obviously it came after Web 1.0.
I did, definitely. Windows 3.1. Yeah, that was a blockbuster, wasn't it?
All right. Well, I want people to keep this broadcast can't be denied. So maybe it's approved. Broadcasts approved. Guaranteed, approved, something. Anyways. All right, so then we have some good stuff in the alternate vision for why crypto is good. Next up is crypto is hard. So this could be something like why Steem is easy.
We are your mother's crypto.
That's pretty funny.
It's memorable.
Your mama's crypto. The final frontier. Yeah, we're going into deep space crypto. Your attention is worth something. So these are kind of slogany. Pulse of crypto. Attention is worth something. I've enjoyed that phrase. All right, your mama's crypto, pulse of crypto. But so those are kind of slogans that might explain some of the benefits here. But why do you guys think Steem is easy? So like this would be a time to go think about Bitcoin, Ethereum, and any of the other top 10 or 20 blockchains and tell me why do you think that Steem is easier to use than them? Gateway Crypto, I can put that in here too. Gateway Crypto. So I'm going with real account names.
So Stacy D says, because I can easily support my friends in a real way. Inertia says native name system, wallet addresses. Zipporah says speed. Space Day says Steem isn't easy, it's smart. Steem is intangible assets, says Paula. Soul says getting help with Steem is way easier than getting help using Bitcoin or others. Kitty Girl says Steem is easy because we have something for everyone, investors, bloggers, gamers, etc. From what I've seen, I haven't looked at the other platforms a whole lot, but to a large degree, you can actually do something on Steem. You can't really do much on most of the others. Some of the Ethereum ones, but you got to go hunt them out.
So that's usable?
Yeah, it's more usable. Zipporah says it's backed by a solid community rather than simply a concept. Delegation is special.
Delegation.
If you like crypto, it's easy to earn. What can you do on crypto? Come to Steem and see.
So this has a bunch of features that are in it. Maybe that.
So
well, I'm just no.
Here's your advertising slogan. It's the future of social media. People that don't see that are fucking blind. I can see us doing mass media on that one.
Community for crypto. So community keeps coming up.
Yep.
Bandwidth rate limiting for feeless operations. I mean that has jargon. It's so many places. It's not inaccurate. I'm not sure that that's what I would promote. It
probably would relate more to devs,
like a bunch of nerdy
possibly
devs.
Investor.
So yeah. So that I'm going to copy this in here, but it's I'm going to reserve that for some.
And we do have to go multi-pronged because we do have to go dev, investors, and users.
Yeah. So actually, yeah, I oftentimes would like to do stakeholders. So you just mentioned 3. What'd you say? You had devs, users, and what was the other one?
Devs, users, and investors. I look at stakeholders as investors because I would have, if I was outside of Steem, I would have no idea what stakeholder meant.
Yeah, no. I just mean like generic term for stakeholder. People that have like
investor,
some kind of investment in the platform or some kind of like stake. I don't mean it like Steem holder. I mean it as like more traditional term of stakeholder.
So if you've done investing and you're holding it, that's a stakeholder. So you're an investor.
Businesses and communities. All right, but I still want to do, why is Steem easy? So you guys have provided a bunch of features. I guess kind of like we can stick with features because maybe that's part of whatever marketing that we're going to do for this thing. But it would also be like, what are, like broadly speaking, what is it about Steem that makes us easy? Is it really the features? Like features being distinct from just sort of like big picture stuff?
I would say, venture to say anyways, that it's not just the features, it's the community that really makes it easy because you can actually talk to people and find out what you need to know.
Proof of work is a bottleneck for new features compared to delegated proof of stake. So proof of stake is going to go into my nerdy category. Proof of stake and then proof of brain. And that doesn't mean that they're wrong. This just means that we have to have the right people to hear this message.
Yeah.
So, so if we're targeting the nerd or dev community, bandwidth rate limiting for feeless operations, proof of stake, proof of brain, like the people like inertia that we want to go target because we need devs here and we need smart people. Like we should definitely have some literature for like what makes Steem great for devs. And that should just be a thing. We're trying to attract devs. We should make it easy for them to realize why we're awesome.
Inertia says, what we're doing here is translating the nerdy blue paper, which is the least nerdy paper.
That's fascinating. Yeah, I guess the blue paper really is out there trying to address a lot of this stuff and plan around it. So referencing the blue paper doesn't actually bug me that much. But it's still, the blue paper is still meant for like hardcore crypto devs, not like, Joey Buttafuoco.
So Janie's made the observation here. She says, I find it interesting that Steem is being described as easy. Steem is not easy for 99% of people.
So Janie, why not? Why is Steem really hard?
Zipporah maybe just answered this. She says, I suppose I don't really think of it as easy for non-techie people. On the contrary, without the community that kept me here, I would have quickly walked away due to not fully understanding.
Okay.
QA has suggested to Steemy that it is in comparison to others.
Yeah, anybody's welcome to speak. If you guys, it's not just me and Shadows Bob. Everybody's welcome to go talk. Except for guilty parties, because he doesn't own a mic. Janie, are you going to talk? You just have to unmute yourself.
Yeah, she is set up on voice in here, or was.
I just want to.
It's not that straightforward for people who don't understand, like developer speak, who don't really understand. I mean, even now, like I don't go look in the white papers and the whatever papers because my brain just goes like, what? I don't know. I'm a creative person, and when I first came onto Steem, I mean the learning curve was crazy steep. It's a lot to take in when you're used to something like Facebook or Instagram, which are super plug and play straightforward, right? You come over here and it's like all these wallets and don't lose your keys, and it's a lot to take in. Know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So what in particular made that hard? Like, are you mentioned keys? You mentioned wallets?
It was all of it. I mean, think about it. You're going from somewhere where you're accustomed to this very simple user interface that is like comprised of scrolling, liking, commenting. That's what people are accustomed to. And private messaging built into it, right? So like the ability to immediately connect with the people that you see. I got onto Steem. There was no obvious immediate way to talk to the people that I was seeing except for on the comments on the posts. I had no idea what like the estimated value was that was on there. I was super confused about that. It was just so much to take in, honestly, in comparison. So we need to reach people in a way that is not super intimidating and let them know that it's maybe not as difficult as it appears to begin with. And just have I know there have been a lot of initiatives to try and sort of catch people as they're coming in, welcome wagon and what have you. I just think it is actually a lot for us because we've been here for a while. We're so used to it. It seems really easy, but remember, for people who are just coming in comparison, we have to understand it's always going to be in comparison to what they're used to.
Can I say something along with that?
Go for it.
Yeah.
I agree with everything Zippy is saying, and I think you even need to backtrack and take a step back even further as to why anyone would even consider coming to a blockchain. What the hell is a blockchain? Why should anyone even attempt to come here at all?
Exactly. It's a huge difference from what people are used to.
Janie had something she wanted to say as well. Are you with us, Janie? I think one of the big things for me in the beginning was that the concept that you actually had to hold on to those keys and you had to keep track of them, and you're used to websites where you can go in, if you forget your password, who cares, set me up with another one. And you can't do it here. Janie, you're not lighting up. You may be having voice issues there.
She's just trolling us.
Also,
Yeah.
I really want to speak.
to go from all these platforms where you could like something, love something, have all these reactions, but not dislike something, to then suddenly you're like these downvotes and these flags or whatever. There's a lot of different elements that are kind of coming at people. Just as far as the simple user interaction.
Although, having joined some, I'm thinking back to some of the other platforms that I joined, they all have a learning curve to them. Some of them I'm still learning.
That's true, but you also have, generally speaking, you have somebody on those platforms that brought you there, somebody that you know, that
No.
you, not none of them, but usually there's some way that you can really easily reach out to those people and ask, right? I didn't find Discord for a while. That was not, it's still not, there's not like a built-in easy way for people to connect with each other on the platform.
That's true. That is true.
And I didn't know anybody. And so I can't remember how I first found, I think you're one of the first people I met on Discord. So
Yep.
I just remember, it was because I went over, I somehow found Steem at chat, but even that took me a while to find. And the only reason why I ventured over there, and it was not a very, hospitable place to me, but I was trying to find someone to report like some circle jerk voting thing that I'd stumbled upon. And that's how I happened to find Discord. But I was kind of totally swimming out in the deep by myself and would have left, honestly, if I hadn't found you guys.
Yeah, I would have left too. I wouldn't even be here if Shane hadn't helped me with all of the keys. I'm the least non-techie person in existence. So
Bree says the constant evolution of the platform, you just get used to one thing and then bam. For a noob, that can be very daunting, especially if they're still busy getting to know the system. I think she's referring to who's speaking there?
I just said Facebook's the same way.
Yeah.
People complain every time they update something, and then everybody gets used to it.
They pretty well all are.
So basically, it's not just, it's not going to be just one message for everyone. It has to be different messages for different types of demographics of who we're trying to talk to here.
Definitely.
So just like kind of describing Steem as a place to earn, that hasn't really helped us a ton because it brings over people that just want to earn and then they don't make $1 million and they leave. So we have to kind of like find the messaging that'll work a little bit better. It's possible that we shouldn't be telling people that Steem is easy and that really like the phrase that might be better is something like Steem is worth it.
Exactly. I was about to say that it's worth the effort to get used to it.
So Paula G's asked, have we defined who our customers are?
We have not. In part because I would argue that we define who our customers are. We find out who our customers are by figuring out what is our problem, what is our vision, who are we going to target with that? Like, who is this going to make sense to? Like if your product is onion ice cream, who wants it? And then you have to figure out who, what person needs both onions and ice cream.
Look in this room though. Look at everyone who's here. That is so hard to say. That's been one of the things that I've actually found the most beneficial about Steem. Sorry to jump in, but is that like on Facebook and all those other places that I was used to, I was in a bubble of like-minded people. That's just how it works. It was an echo chamber constantly. And here I'm surrounded by people that I'm sure I would not ordinarily really interact with or bump into. It's such a diverse, throwing together of all walks of life. That's at least how it seems to me.
Yeah, but at some point, I think it's going to it'll make some sense, right? So one of the things I realized was that when I'm like, if you ask people why do you like skiing, there's about 7 to 9 answers that people will give you, which is a bunch, but it's usually something like, I find the chairlift calming, I like the social, I like the exercise, it's a thrill, the moguls are hard and I like that. But there's not like an infinite number. There's usually just a handful. So like here, what I think we need to try to get to is figure out like what are the ways that this thing might actually resonate with you, and then make sure that the people that it might resonate with are seeing that message. So the drama is great. A plus drama.
Casey has suggested everyone's a customer to Steem because it solves the basic problems of education and financial stability. The question should be, how do we get everyone to use Steem? And then Solo Miner says that he loves how international it feels. Facebook was only his friends.
It solves the basic problems of education and financial stability. The question should be, how do we get everyone to use Steem? Solves the basic problems of education and financial stability. So I'm not sure that like, in terms of like financial stability, one of the main things didn't come up of like fiat is going to crash any minute. I'm not sure that financial stability, especially for like, Steem has gone from $10 to 15 cents. I'm not sure that I would say that financial stability is like one of the key benefits of this platform.
Yeah,
education's a funky one too.
Well, it is kind of educational in the sense that you get such a broad base of information, and that's even without it, not even coming anywhere near where it could go. Kitty Girl says Janie has some experience attempting to onboard folks from Facebook to Steem, so she might have some insight here. If we could get her on voice.
Yeah. We are not censoring Janie.
She can't get the mic to work. Kitty Girl, maybe you could give her a hand with that?
Well, she's having mic issues that I think are beyond the regular push-to-talk thing. Can we give her on-air role for just a moment? On-air role?
Where's Janie in the list?
That might not solve her problem, but it's certainly worth trying.
Janie, try using voice activity now.
I've tried both.
Hey, there she is.
I've tried both like 15 times.
Well, you're
switching from one to the other.
You're automatically set for push to talk. It's when I gave you the on-air guest that you got voice activity.
Yeah, well, anyway, I've been ping-ponging them for the last 15 minutes. I missed the part of the other conversation that I wanted to have something to say, but anyway.
That's okay. You've had some experience onboarding people from Facebook to Steem.
It is not easy. I will say that. It is not easy. And just stepping back to the previous part of the conversation, which I was trying to get involved in. I think people on the blockchain underestimate just how little people who are not know. And it's sort of, there's almost an arrogance about it, which is unfortunate because this doesn't really breed enthusiasm amongst those who don't know what they're doing. And let me tell you, 99% of people on generic social media platforms don't know what they're doing. So exactly as I'm looking at whoever was speaking earlier, I was trying to see who was. I think it was Zipporah.
Yes.
That was speaking at the time.
Zipporah and Azaria were both speaking.
Zipporah, yeah. They were spot on. They were absolutely spot on. It is assumed that people know what we consider like daily lingo is like completely foreign to most people on commercial social media platforms. They have no idea, and I have I have coaxed and coached and babysat, and it's enormously exhausting.
So can you give us a walkthrough of what taking somebody that's like your mom on Facebook and now you're bringing them to Steem?
Hey, don't even talk about my mom.
Well, okay, we'll pick
she
somebody.
is on Steem, and that's painful enough. No, I would say that. Sorry, my son is busy gesturing to me in the side. Yes, love. Okay, you can also come with. Thank you. I think the thing is that how can I say, the initial greeting of the platform itself is where it falls short. There's just nothing. There's nothing. People, I did it myself. Now, I mean, I'm not a tech guru or anything, but I am a graphic designer by trade, so I would consider myself an advanced computer user. And I stepped onto the Steem platform, and as I said in the Inner Blocks radio chat on Thursday, the other day, I did exactly what the first thing that they said do not do was do not lose your Steem password. It's like da-da-da-da-da. And I did it. I don't know how I did it, but I did it. There is no, it's just so not user-friendly on any way, shape, or form. And it doesn't matter which one you use. If it's Steemit, Steem Peak, they're not user-friendly to the average user. And I think that is exactly what Zipporah was saying, that we overestimate what people's knowledge is. I wouldn't be able to give you a walkthrough. I'm not, but all I know is that, all I can say is that it doesn't work for 99% of users. And that's where the problem lies, because we spend all of our energy and time promoting Steem, going, Steem is amazing and it's such a great community. And there are a select amount of people that are prepared to put in the time and effort to actually go the extra mile and go like, all right, let's work past this problem, this password problem, and let's, figure out the really not very easy way of actually changing my profile picture and or my cover image and so on and so forth. But most people will go, you know what, screw this. That is what most people will do. They just give up. And they walk away and they go, yeah, well, you know what, it's easier to just, it's the same as like you log into other networks. They give you the option. They go, would you like to log in with Facebook? And I can guarantee you 99.999% of people will go, yep, I'll take that option. I'll log in with Facebook because I don't have to fill in my first name and my last name and my address and my email and it's just, Steem has not afforded, people are lazy. People don't like to read. I've worked in marketing my entire life. People don't like to read. I had customers forever coming to me with like this long spiel that they'd like to put at the top of their marketing campaign. And I'm like, nobody's going to read that. You've got to find like a 5-word punchline. You've got to find a way to get people enthusiastic in something within 30 seconds. Otherwise, you've lost them.
Yeah,
and Steem has not grasped that. I don't know how it's possible to do that with all of the complication involved, with all the passwords and so on and so forth. But there has to be some way to. Otherwise, it's always going to be a very niche market because the people that are lazy will never engage in it.
I realized something else as well. I think one of the major barriers that's related to that is that what people are doing when they're engaging with something like Instagram or most mainstream social media platforms, it's a mindless sort of interaction that has become so habitual. It's like an addiction, but it's this mindless thing, and people react, but it's largely consequenceless. Whereas on Steem, suddenly your actions have consequences. You can't just go and like something. You can't just go and like something. You even have to learn that, like, wait a minute, every time you vote something, your voting power decreases. So suddenly everything you do requires thought.
It has a repercussion,
And that's a killer for a lot of people.
Exactly. I think that right there
you have to
is like
think. I'm out of here.
No, and also most people don't like consequence.
That's exactly what that's it. It's that there's no way to interact with Steem or any of the related, no way right now that isn't consequenceless or that supports that sort of mindless scrolling interaction with a random like. People can post a few thoughts without worrying.
Zipporah, you know what? I hear you, and I actually think that possibly that is not a negative. It might diminish the audience to a degree, but I would like to believe that would possibly make the audience that does actually engage a better audience.
Yeah, I don't think it's negative. I just think it's one of the biggest barriers to why we have had such a hard time with retention and with why it's going to be something we're going to have to address if we're actually wanting or hoping that we're ever going to have wide scale adoption of this, right?
And there's also
I think what I meant by what I was saying was that possibly the how can I put this? We can look at broad scale adoption, but it's going to be a filtered broad scale adoption, if I can put it that way. What I'm saying is that I don't think they will ever get it to the point where it's going to suit the individual that's not prepared to care about the detail.
It'd be interesting. It'd be interesting to hear from the people at 3Speak where they've got those guest accounts where people can join without having to know the whole thing about the crypto and the whole bit. And then as they participate, they earn enough to actually get an account. And by then they've started to get some familiarity. It'd be interesting to hear how those are working out and if the retention is any better. So
yeah, that's true.
Kitty, Shadows, can I say something about content before you move on?
Sure.
There's another issue about even when people get here, what kind of content is acceptable? Since I've been here 2.5 years and it started where it should be long form blog posts. Then it turned into you should post whatever you want. Now it's back to things need to be quality. It seems to go back and forth about what is accepted.
I don't actually get that. I don't get that mindset.
Okay, right. So, I mean, if we're going to have mass adoption, that won't work. So,
no, exactly.
That could happen, something with SMTs and tribes to make something like more of a tribe that's more like Twitter, more of a tribe that's more like Facebook, where you can make shorter posts. Things like that would help because, if you're trying to get mass adoption and people come here and just start posting like they do on Twitter, then they're going to get downvoted and leave.
I think we're going to find that communities will drive that a lot more. Communities will set standards on what kind of content, and that'll help to identify it a little bit more. So I noticed a couple of comments, one from Kitty Girl wondering about if something like Facebook credentials could be used instead of keys in the beginning until they learn a bit. And Guilty's made the comment that all these points being brought up are the type of things the marketing committee and subsequent committees can look into solving, easing communications, bridging the engagement. That's kind of the purpose of us being here today, Guilty, is to get the input from the community for the marketing committee to be able to examine and talk about.
And I'd add that if people are excited about this discussion, we're looking for other people too.
Yes.
So hopefully this isn't just a one-time thing, because I do think it's a really fair statement to say this is a complicated problem to solve. And even a community of smart people interacting peacefully and thoughtfully for a couple hours it still seems like we have more work to do.
A lot of it.
A lot.
So hopefully, we can keep doing some of these marketing rambles, but hopefully people are willing to be contributing to this, like on a committee form too. But I guess ultimately Janie has convinced me that we should not run around saying we are easy to use. That we have to go switch to something like worth the pain in the ass, like
exactly.
And we have to explain through the benefits of like, hey, so you go back to like Billy Mays. Don't you hate it that crypto is terrible, or that fiat is terrible? They rob your money, they inflate it, and every single day you support the war machine. That's frustrating. Fortunately, though, there are alternatives. It's called crypto. Crypto is great because inflation is decentralized instead of centralized, and that way we don't allow just one rich group of people to figure out who gets new money. But it's frustrating too. It's frustrating because we do things like have keys. And on top of keys, it can be tricky to figure out how these systems work because they're more complicated than what you're used to. But you know what? Steem makes it all worth it. And like that's kind of how you wrap up that message.
Agro, can I just add something to that? I just wanted to say that I think you're quite right. Adding the details, like I think the guidance aspect of it plays a huge role. I don't think the details necessarily need to be disclosed to the details of the complication need to be disclosed to users that are completely oblivious to what is involved. But I think the carrying of the individual from the point of creating their Steem account and so forth is where it comes in. And I was going to mention like things like Kitty Girl and sorry, my puppy is trying to get me to play with him. Kitty Girl and ex-county travelers and Brits and them at like Steem Terminal, that sort of thing. That's like your first pit stop. I think it's such a brilliant concept that they came up with to develop that, because you join this place, you don't know what you've got yourself into, or where you are, or where you're going, and what you're doing, and you just guide them straight into there. They tell you what to do and where to go. They give you the answers to all the questions you've got, and so then that breeds confidence. So I don't think too much detail in terms of the marketing aspect is necessary. You don't really ever want to focus on negatives when it comes to marketing. You always want to focus on the positives, but the point is that there needs to be a follow through. So from the point of marketing, and then somebody jumps on somewhere, there's got to be somebody to grab them and take them to a place where they feel like, they feel comfortable, and there's people taking care of them, and they're learning, and from that point forward, they will find their feet.
Can I add something about?
Hold on. Yeti wanted to say something.
Hey everybody! I hope I go through okay.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Here.
We gotcha.
So I'm really excited about this. I'm really passionate about Steem and bringing new users to the platform. Maybe I'm getting a little turned around as we're talking about bringing users to Steem and how to advertise Steem out to Johnny and Jane public, right? And we're talking about how to bring the average user over to the Steem blockchain. But I'm thinking at some point when they access the blockchain, it's going to be through some sort of a front end, like a Steemit.com, a SteamSpeak, a Busy. Something is going to be their way into the blockchain. So should we be focusing on, if you advertise one way to developers, like, hey, come build your business here, but then put it on the individual sort front ends or the individual accesses to market themselves, to have their own business plan and like, hey, this is why you should come through us to the blockchain. And so instead of doing it like a broad sweeping, hey, come to the blockchain, wouldn't it be like the individuals like, hey, come to steemit.com, come to SteamSpeak, and this is why. And then pitch the blockchain to developers, builders, businesses, and things like that.
So
that's a very good point.
To me, that kind of comes down. So I think it's a good point. I don't think we're there in the discussion yet. So like until we know more about who we are, how we want to talk about ourselves, and like what are the points that are going to resonate, and how should we be describing it? I would wait until after we figured that out to then say, how do we deliver the message?
Do you think that's even possible with so many varying front ends? Because everybody's got their own view and path.
I think
there's something they all have in common.
Steam.
Yes, and it's related
exactly.
to what I was about to say. I just recently have gone back on Facebook because I had a friend who passed, and so I was on there, and what I saw over and over and over again, and things people are posting, is frustration with no one seeing what they're posting, because Facebook shadow bans people, what have you. Somehow touching on people's dissatisfaction with their options now is also in a way that's positive. I think that we're kind of coming back to what you were saying, Agro, but that is something that I saw, just like every other person was bitching about, okay, I'm going to post this. I know no one's seeing it, and I'm frustrated about it.
I had an example of that. Somebody's got some heavy-duty background noise going. Agro, is that you? Oh, it's.
I have no. I don't have
Janie.
any TV.
It's Janie.
I have it.
You want to? Would you mute in between if you've got TV in the background?
Or switch to push to talk now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I came across a really good post on Steem Leo that was related to the elections that just ended here in Canada. And I put it over on Facebook yesterday, and I went back and took a look at the post this morning. Now, typically when I put something on Facebook, there's at least one or two likes pops up on the posting. There was not one which tells me that it was probably shadow banned because it came from Steam. Actually, it was marked as coming from Steam Peak.
That's what they did to me, and I had posted something on Tune. I tried several different ways, and because it was related to blockchain, I guarantee you, even though I tagged my friend who just died, nothing showed up on his page. So they're very clearly trying to make sure no one sees what we post if it has anything to do with crypto.
I should try.
So that gets us to the benefit of like everyone sees your posts, everyone receives your post, because that is like a truly unique selling feature about our blockchain.
And the fact that no one's controlling your, really, like, you can post about anything. There's no, it's like the whole political correctness thing is gone. You really have autonomy.
But you know something else that I've noticed, even though we've got the freedom to post about anything here, you don't get the nasty comment wars that you get over there.
Exactly. It's because over there, it's consequenceless. People are totally disconnected with the fact that there's another person on the other side. It's this mindless thing. There are not consequences. You come here and suddenly you're like, oh shit, if I say something really awful, I'm going to get a bunch of people downvoting me and the community is going to hate me. There's consequences.
Yes, exactly.
And there's even consequences in tribes, and there will be with the SMTs too. So it's not exactly the truest message, but you could say the blockchain itself has no shadow banning.
Yes, definitely.
No shadow banning. Let's put that in there. I still want no shadow banning to be a positive rather than a negative. So the group sort of moved on to social media is broken, although I still feel like, I guess overall, why is Steem worth it? So there's a lot of like individual features that make it worth it, but like Steem's at 15 cents. It's there are times where this place is a total cluster and everything is frustrating as hell, why do you stick with it? Like, why are we all still here? Why do you still care? Like, what at the heart of this? Why is it worth it?
It is the people. I'm going to jump in and say again, sorry I'm being so vocal right now, but I'm passionate about this. I think, honestly, we need to not even mention or really highlight the fact that you can earn. Because then people come with this idea that they're going to earn something when they don't. They get disappointed, frustrated. We have to highlight the other aspects so that the fact that you can earn is a side bonus, awesome, extra thing, but not the primary reason why we're drawing people to us.
You're actually the first person I think to mention earning in relation to Steem. Somebody else I think said you don't earn anything on Facebook.
I think just because you said it's 15 cents, I was just because you mentioned the value of it.
We made it an
about worth just to say I think we should avoid that.
We made it an hour and 45 minutes without saying you can earn on Steem. So that feels pretty good to me.
We did make a comment in passing, but I think it was actually you that made it.
Oh, well, I'm the worst then. So but I still want to know, okay. So I don't want people to tell me what they don't want me to talk about. I want to know, like, guys, we've all been through 2 shit years of a bear market and you guys are still here. Why are you still here? What keeps you connected? Like, why do you love this place? What is it that what tethers you here?
I think one of the big responses here is the people. Snook says she can be the real her. Azaria says she's still earning. There we go, earning it twice in 15 minutes.
If I can put in here, then I'd say Discord. If there was no Discord, you would not have half as many people still on Steam.
I wouldn't want to bet on that. Discord's a big influence. There's no question about it. Other platforms that don't have discussion built in, they also require people over on other places.
Yeah, how do people do it on Instagram or Snapchat? Do you do that all through the app?
Yeah, you can message people. You can message people privately, directly on both of those.
So the one site that I keep going back to that is as close to Steem as you're going to get is Medium, and people communicate on Medium over on Facebook. They go to Facebook groups. On Steem, they come to Discord. Hackroad, what are you doing there?
That's not me typing or something.
It's the only open mic.
It's not the only one. I'm not typing.
That's weird. I can't see another open mic. Doesn't matter. Whoever it is just stopped. They just did.
Wasn't me. I didn't do nothing.
It went quiet anyways, so somebody noticed.
All right, we have about 10 more minutes. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay. So other than, is there anything about this, is there something about the product, like the blockchain, that keeps you guys here? Because so far it's people, and so maybe I should be asking, what is it about the people, and then but is there anything about this damn product that you guys like? Like, okay. What is it about the blockchain that makes it worth sticking through all this shit?
Snook wants to say something. Guilty says if he leaves, Snook will kill him.
Well, I would. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
We can hear you.
Okay. The blockchain, it gives you a place to write stuff and find yourself, and the people not through Discord, but Discord helped. But the first 4 months I was on Steem, I wasn't on Discord. I made it a point not to be. And the amount of positive reinforcement I got while I was learning to blog and to write, and now I do poems and I do games, and my blog is not one specific thing, but everything I do, I got positive feedback from the people that were here, because it's a lot of creative people. So from that, I learned to have more faith in myself and put out stuff that I would never have done on Facebook, because people would talk down to me. Where here, it's like I come up with a weird idea and everybody's like, oh my God, that's brilliant. And I'm like, well, there's a lot more of those weird ideas in my head. And so it's freeing, because you can be yourself. And that's what I mean by be myself. So all the stuff the creative stuff in the real world, you got made fun of, where here it's people see it for what it really is, that it is creative, and even though it might not be perfect and I spell a word wrong or whatever, concept of, yes, be yourself. And that's what I tell everybody, no matter what you write. If you are yourself and you're passionate about it, it shows, and that's what people follow. And that's what people want to see. And that's what you don't get on Facebook or Twitter or anything like that, is the passion that the people have for what they're writing and what they're doing, even if it is written badly, because eventually that person, if they get interaction and they get positive feedback, they will want to make their posts look better. It's a learning curve. But a lot of people, come at it with the negative, with the onboarding. But once you get people here and they start writing, and even if it is bad, if it's written with passion, that is the huge difference. And you can do that here. And that's what I did. And I'm almost up to 5,000 Steem power. And that's all just from posting. I don't have money to put in and, to invest in Steem. I wish I did, but I don't. So, and I started out for a long, long time making 3 cents on a post, and that was 2 years ago. So I did not come in. I didn't get Curie votes. I just wrote a post about, to new people, what they should keep in mind. But it gave me a place to be me, by meaning I wrote a poem the other day and I got 20 comments on it. And if you would have asked me 3 years ago, would you write a poem and have people love it, I would have laughed in your face. So it's just a community that encourages creativity to the nth degree, and you can be surrounded by positive people if you are authentic in who you really are. You can also be surrounded by really negative people, but I stay away from that.
So my Billy Mays version of this is something like, do you ever go to Facebook, post your comments, and get told to go get raped in Somalia? That's not fun. Wouldn't you rather be in a community where your opinion can be heard, shared, and a authentic and a healthier discussion can be had? Welcome to Steem. Because this system has financial consequences to your behavior, people tend to be better behaved. Something like that. I mean, that's not amazing, but
can you guys
like
still hear me?
Yep.
I agree with that completely. I was just going to say, it reminds me of a little bit like childhood discipline, really. Whether they like to admit it or not, most people like boundaries, or at least to know where they stand. And I think the consequence of having the blockchain attached to our social media aspect, sort of puts weight on the consequence. So there is that innate. Well, I could just post this picture, but should I? There's a positive and a negative to that, and with regards to what Snook was saying, I agree with her. I think that people, if you like the content that you're reading, then you're going to support it, whichever way it swings. But I do think that the weight of the blockchain makes people a little bit more conscientious.
Okay, Kitty Girl's waiting to speak.
Well, one of the positive things that I see in the Steem blockchain is its stability. We have got so many witnesses running servers. We've got so many different nodes to choose from that if one node or one witness server goes down, it's still running. We don't have to wait for some centralized authority to fix their servers, reboot, whatever. We're still operational unless we're in the middle of a hard fork. I think the stability is a tremendous asset to the blockchain.
That's true. That's very true. I think there's probably been people that have been willing to try things from a creative standpoint on this blockchain that they would not have tried anywhere else. And the very fact that I'm speaking on this mic is one of those things.
Yeah, so I think we should add stability to one of the benefits, Agrode.
I wrote it down.
Yeah, Agrode was on it.
I'll try to. My hope will be to go take this long list of stuff and see if I can condense this into a post that references what everybody has sort of brought to this table to help describe Steem in general. I mean, I think some take homes are here, be authentic. It is protected speech, protected economics, or protected transactions, protected speech. It seems like there's some kind of system here of like we voluntarily choose a better system. I don't know. There's a lot to distill out of this. But I feel like this has been a really productive conversation. I'd like to thank everybody for participating, and especially Shadows Pub for letting us use her server to go host this. So thank you, my dear.
No problem.
Thank you, Agrode, thank you for distilling all of this into a HackMD document, Agrode. That's appreciated.
Well, I want this to be everybody's. Like I might have process that I like, but I don't. I can't do this on my own. So everybody participated. I hope that you guys will do more of this with us. I mean, maybe the marketing committee ends up being some big, everybody on Steem come do the thing together. But we need your help. We want more people to work with us. If you're interested in serving and helping to coordinate events like this and ultimately the messaging, then please contact either me or Guilty Parties or Shadows Pub, and we can kind of get you worked into this so that if you're passionate about this place and passionate about this topic, we want you to take a leadership role here and help shape this.
The consensus in the comments seems to be that they want more opportunities like this.
All right. I thought this went really well. I mean,
I do as well.
I couldn't ask for more than this. So this was a very productive conversation. I don't know. Maybe we just schedule one for a couple weeks out. I guess a couple weeks is going to be Steem Fest, but maybe after Steem Fest, sort of in late November, we can do another one of these and invite everybody to that, and just keep working on this until we feel like we know what problems we're trying to solve. We know what message will resonate about them, or at least how we can talk about ourselves and feel good about it. And that can be the basis of a marketing campaign that can help drive people here.
Casey has suggested weekly, but I think that's overkill.
That's a little bit of overkill.
Yeah, you need some processing in between. And it's also pointed out there'll probably be a lot more to talk about after Steam Fest, particularly if some of the people that go to Steam Fest come back into the next one.
All right, guys. I think that's going to round this out. This was a great audience. I really appreciate people participating. Thanks for giving me some room to kind of shape out this process. I'm grateful to the people that contributed. I feel like everybody here was combining into this, and I certainly don't feel like this is not what I would have come up with on my own, and it's so much better than anything I could have thought up. And I'm just grateful that you're all here. This is a community that I love to be a part of, and thank you, Shadows Pub. Thank you to the audience, and let's make Steem 8 again.
Thanks everybody for coming, and in the words of Artemis North, go forth and steamy 8.